Yeah, it reminds me of Define a Woman. I'm not a biologist. That seems to be a favorite of libs these days. She also was asked, is the mask mandate still in effect? To which she replied, I don't know. Okay, well, you're the press secretary. You know how government works. That's a snarky answer. The answer is we respect the opinions of the federal judiciary, including that of a federal judge in Florida, but that's not what she said. Biden administration calling this disappointing. Harris, I was mid-flight last night. Middle of my flight, the flight attendant stands there and says, breaking news, if you want to take off your mask, take off your mask.
How about that?
There were cheers, there was an eruption, there was joy. So if the Biden administration wants to express disappointment as America collectively cheers, they can try to do that. But I hope Jen Psaki at the podium today fights very hard against this ruling. I hope President Biden does. I hope they show the true autocrats they are, because that's exactly what they are. And also, shame on those talking about this federal judge. I've met her. I've met her at the Federalist Society, spoken to her. She's a smart woman, 4 federal judicial clerkships, worked at Jones Day. Yeah, go ahead, go after her, go after America. We're all celebrating.
Oh, well, if you met her at the Federalist Society, I guess she must be great. Wait, did the ABA meet her before they ruled her unqualified for the position? I have a feeling they probably talked to her too. Anyway, that is Kayleigh McEnany, former press secretary, attacking Jen Psaki, current press secretary, for their answer about the elimination of the mask mandate for public transport, saying, we don't know exactly what's gonna happen, which, by the way, this could be appealed. It could be re-implemented. It's a fairly honest, it's not even an offensive answer in any way. But Kayleigh McEnany has a big problem with it, thinks that she was being flippant or insulting towards the judge. Adrienne, we haven't talked about this yet, but obviously the mask mandate was taken down by a Trump appointee. I think a 33-year-old when she was initially put on the bench, again, rated not qualified by the ABA. What do you think about all this?
Okay, so this judge, her ruling and decision, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has universal presence. It does not have precedent necessarily across the nation, and yet the nation is acting like that's the case. There are often times where there are federal courts in different places in the United States who make rulings, and so it's generally only in that jurisdiction where you could say that it's truly persuasive. So I don't know why so many airlines are like, yeah, we're done with it because one federal judge said something. The thing is, what I actually expect to happen is someone to challenge it in another federal court somewhere else in the United States and to get a whole different ruling. We just saw this with Madison Cawthorn and the article, section 3 of Article 14, or 14th Amendment, excuse me, and with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You have 2 different federal judges saying 2 different things. And so, you know what, it was smart for Psaki to say, hey, we gotta wait on this. We don't know what could happen, because that's true. It's just, I really wish the rest of the country wasn't just so willing to go ahead and get rid of masks because of one judge's ruling that may not even extend to their jurisdiction.
Exactly, and by the way, you're right, and she is to some extent right, that some people would like to get rid of the mask mandate, particularly on planes. I mean, after all, how many mid-air freakouts have we shown of people who are incensed at having to not infect people with a deadly virus? Yes, there are some people who will be happy, and there is footage of some people cheering, but facts are inconvenient sometimes for her in this case, because a very recent poll shows 59% of Americans supported the mask rule that was just taken out. So look, 2 things can be true at the same time. Do some Americans not want to wear masks? Well, indisputably, from the very beginning of this thing, some people haven't wanted to be a part of the solution. But no, it is not true that like, oh, the Biden administration should rue the day that they tried to push for this. They'll face the wrath of the voters over it. No, the voters largely were perfectly fine with it. And we can break it down, by the way. 59% either strongly supported or somewhat supported an extension of the mask mandate. Only 32% somewhat opposed or strongly opposed. By the way, strongly opposed, which is what she's presenting as the default position, that people are cheering in the streets over this, is 22% of the population. And I say this because we face so much misinformation that no matter how much time we here on this program or on others like it try to fight back against it, you might come away with some mistaken impressions that I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but I guess the country doesn't agree with me. No, they do agree with you. The mask mandate was reasonable and people accepted it as such. And so it's gonna be appealed, by the way, the overruling of it. People were largely okay with it. They understood the public health interest implicit in that mask mandate. And there's now an attempt, not only after they've won here, but to rewrite history and pretend that people were overwhelmingly against it when they just weren't and aren't.
Nope, exactly. A lot of us really did enjoy it in part because, hey, especially in airports, I don't want you to talk to me. That'd be nice. Also, not everybody fully brushes their teeth. And a lot of us didn't get sick over the last 2 years if they didn't get COVID. It's just there are so many benefits to wearing this mask, but also when you see that COVID rates are going back up and there are all these different variants going on, why are we ignoring science just so someone could tell me to smile? Like we're going back and we do not need to be going backward. We need to be going forward. And it just seems like this is completely preventable. We could exercise wisdom, but instead what we are doing is just really catering to the right and also just ignorance that is going to end up biting us again.
I agree. And thank you for mentioning that the cases are going up. I say this not to we've been covering basically every day, not to scare people. I don't want another wave. Yeah. I'm planning potentially to have a couple of people over for an outdoor Hobbit movie viewing. I don't want to have to cancel that, and I would like that to be the first of many. There's several movies that they made, by the way. I don't want it, but we can't pretend that the cases aren't going up. They're back above, I think, 42, 43,000 average daily cases. That's basically where we bottomed out in this thing. We got down to like 30, 35. Last year we got down to 10 when it was really lowering. So not as good. And maybe it's Omicron. There's a lot more people that are vaccinated. Maybe the hospitalizations and the death counts won't go up at the same rate. That's what I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But simply cheering doesn't make it so. That's not how public health works.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.